Hello, everyone. It's time for Golden Harvest We're All Ears, a podcast mini-series airing throughout Harvest 2021. Another week, another episode I'm happy to share with you all. I'm Carah Hart, your host. This episode is for the curious-minded. What exactly goes into every bag of corn and soybean seeds that you get from your trusted Golden Harvest Seed Advisor? The seeds that fuel your entire operation. Well, we're taking you on that journey from lab to bag to discover exactly what goes into every bag from Syngenta Seeds. I'll be joined by Warren Kruger and Ryan White, two of the experts behind seeds development, production, and operations at Syngenta. Glad you're here with us. This is We're All Ears. Hey Warren, hey Ryan. Can you both introduce yourselves and share a bit about your experience in agriculture? And let's start with Warren.
Hey, Carah. Nice to join you and the listeners. So, as you pointed out, my name is Warren Kruger. I'm the head of North America Seeds Development. So me and my team work on all of the new seed products for our field crops, primarily corn, soybean, and wheat for the North America market. I have been with Syngenta for a little over a year now, and in total I have 17 years of experience, industry R&D experience in the agriculture and seed business. So really great again to be with you today.
Ryan, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi, Carah, and all the listeners out there. Ryan White. I am the head of production operations and supply chain for the field crops here with Syngenta, and been in the industry nearly 24 years this year, which is almost crazy to think about. And started actually my journey into the seeds world as a young kid, to tasseling seed corns for one of our predecessor companies, Funks G, that then is now part of the legacy Syngenta companies, and here I am today working with the team, and my family still farms in northern Illinois, so I stay close to all the farming activities that take place each and every day.
Well, it's good to have you both join us, and you both, of course, work for Syngenta Seeds. Warren on the seed development side, and Ryan on the seed production and operations side. What can you tell me about the company's history in the seeds industry? And Warren, we'll start with you.
Sure. Well, so Syngenta as a whole has been around since 2000 and really became the Syngenta Group in 2020. Syngenta Seeds is now one of the world's largest developers and producers of seeds for farmers, commercial growers, small seed companies, and retailers. Our team has continued to expand our brand of portfolio of crops, but our key focus is corn and soybeans, and as I mentioned in the introduction, wheat as well, for the North American market. So Syngenta feature both AgriSure traits as well as Energen technology. And while we've come a long way, our goal is to be leaders in all things seeds related. And I think that foundationally comes from our dedication to innovation and helping farmers improve the quality as well as the yield potential of their crops. Our teams work every day on our research and development to bring farmers more vigorous, stronger, more resistant plants that will weather the challenges that farmers currently face and will face also in the future.
Now that we have some history on Syngenta Seeds, let's talk a little bit more about research and development. Warren, what have Syngenta Seeds R&D efforts looked like in the past, and what do they look like now?
So our R&D process has continued to improve as we grow more committed to driving advancement in the seed industry. R&D essentially is about speed, precision, and power, if I were to exemplify it in those three words. It's really the ability to combine those, orchestrate those, to better identify new products that meet the needs of farmers' operations and the challenges they face. It's really a mindset, if you will, that allows us to drive momentum that is guided by technology, data, and science to find new solutions. In short, it really and truly runs like an orchestrated engine. When I think about examples of this, a couple come to mind. Our trait integration is really a great example of this idea of speed, precision, and power. For example, we have a great innovation engine that speeds up the germplasm and trait development in a way that improves yield potential. It's one of the ways in which we brought Enlist E03 soybean varieties to the market faster than almost anybody else in the industry, and how we're also fueling a very strong and improving port portfolio with first inline innovations. Another example is the Trait Conversion Accelerator in Idaho, which showcases our commitment to innovation and the exemplification of a rapid and fast seed product development pipeline. That facility focuses on developing corn seed products with cutting-edge traits and great best-in-class genetics that are brought to the market more quickly. Before we had the Trait Conversion Accelerator, a lot of that work was done in open fields and only with semi-controlled environments. But in Nampa, we take away the environmental impact by using protected culture to advance our trait integration, making it far more reliable. We have also looked at how we speed up the integration of traits into soybean when we think about some of the trait acceleration that happens there, where we're able to drive the conversion of soybean to provide trait choice in as little as 7 weeks. So that's another great innovation that we've experienced both in corn and in soybean. So with all that, there's a great reason why Syngenta was also recognized as a top 10 leading employer by Science Magazine in 2019. We're innovating with our farmers, not at our farmers.
So Warren, what does this mean for the farmers here? What can farmers expect from Syngenta Seeds, corn, and soybean products?
For the 2022 season, the game-changing corn portfolio from Golden Harvest feature new hybrids and proven performers. Many of our corn products include AgriSure traits, which protect the seed's genetic yield potential that have been brought through from our breeding pipelines. Both of these portfolios have options like AgriSure Duracade and AgriSure Viptera traits for above and also below ground insect protection, as well as AgriSure Artesian trait for water optimization. In terms of soybeans, we bring farmers top-end yield potential with a very broad choice of herbicide-tolerant trait platforms. For the 2022 season, farmers can look for Gold Series soybeans from Golden Harvest, which are exclusive genetics offered in high-demand trait platforms, including Enlist E03 soybeans, as well as XtendFlex soybeans. So farmers have choice both in terms of genetics as well as herbicide resistance to pick what solution works best for their farm.
That's very interesting, Warren. And I wondered, you really seem to take pride in all the work that you do at Syngenta. What's your favorite part about what you do?
My favorite part of what I do is actually working in one of the most collaborative teams, not only within my team, but with other teams, including folks like Ryan. Syngenta at its core is a great collaboration-oriented culture, and that really fosters great team interaction, challenging conversations, working with challenging problems, because everybody's in it to help develop those better products to solve farmer solutions. So again, just to emphasize the point, it's really about driving great collaboration. That's what really excites me.
Well, thanks, Warren, for joining us and answering some questions. And we're going to transition over here to Ryan. Now that we've heard so much about what goes into seed research and development, let's talk a little bit more about quality. And I wondered, Ryan, can farmers expect a certain standard of quality from Syngenta Seeds?
When it comes to quality, to Warren's earlier comment, it really is about a mindset, and not just the mindset, but also the technology and everything we do. When I say mindset, it's the mindset of our employees that quality matters to our customers at every step of the process. So, we take from the time we start growing the crop in the field, we start monitoring the quality of that crop to the time that that crop gets harvested, and all the sampling that we do to ensure the genetic purity of that crop and ensure the germination of those seeds, protect those seeds as best we can and handle them as gently as possible all the way through our seed production processes. And then, all the final quality testing we do once the seed is in the bag and treated, and making sure that we can deliver the best quality seed that will give our customers, the best stands in their fields in the spring, and deliver the traits and the genetics that they look to get from our Golden Harvest Seed Advisor.
It sounds like Syngenta has a lot of really high standards for their products.
We're always raising the bar on quality. Every year we're looking for opportunities to improve. Just like farmers, they want to get more out of every acre every year. We want to help them get more, and a lot of that comes with getting that crop established early. And so we're always looking for new tests that we can do to help support the farmer, and help make sure that crop establishes itself well and gets off to the best start and performs to its potential.
Ryan, let's talk a little bit more about production on the production side of things. How exactly does an order of corn or soybean seeds go from lab to bag in a farmer's field?
Yeah, it's quite the journey, and one of the first things I always like to remind folks when we talk about getting a bag of seed to a farmer for spring of 2022, it actually started all the way back in actually February of 2021. Anticipating what products that the R&D team, the seeds development team are going to bring through. They're going to create the value from our customers, our product management team, then reviewing those products and their placement and fit for our customers. And then us working with our sales team to create demand for those products and really understand the demand placement of those products. And then we grow it. We've got to grow that crop just like a farmer, and do all the management that it takes to create the hybrid seed corn and manage the soybean fields as effectively as we can for pests, and get them all the way to harvest. So, a lot of the activities from planting the female rows of corn to the male rows of corn to the detasseling activities to harvesting on the ear and bringing it into our dryers at our plant. A lot of the activities are similar to what farmers do, with a lot of specialization to ensure seed quality in each step of the process. So we always like to say we're a partner with our seed growers and our farmers that we work with to bring that crop forward and that seed forward for the next year.
I think it's really cool that you work with some of those growers to really make sure that you're getting the best options out there to folks, and that in fact some Golden Harvest products may be grown just down the road from where people live. That's a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We our soybeans are really grown within our seed production footprint across the Midwest, all the way from near where you're at there, Carah, and North Dakota, all the way down to Arkansas, and we grow all the way from Nebraska to Indiana. And so we have quite the footprint where we're really working and partnering with farmers, to grow the crop and manage that seed crop right alongside our seed production agronomists and field operations managers. And so we always talk about that partnership, that it's hand in hand to make sure we bring forward the best products ultimately to all of our Golden Harvest customers across the Midwest.
We know the COVID-19 pandemic really impacted a lot of businesses, and I wondered, Ryan, can you tell me how the COVID-19 pandemic affected operations and production for Syngenta Seeds?
Yeah, the COVID and the challenges of it, managing our business, really from the standpoint of overall seed production, first and foremost, a shout out to our employees who worked every day making sure that the seed was delivered and packaged and handled in the best manner, from spring all the way through summer throughout the pandemic. I want to give a shout out to them. If it wasn't for them at our seed plants every day doing their job, we wouldn't be able to deliver to our customers like we do. From there, really, it's really around, we haven't, since we grow a lot of our crop locally with the farmers and partners that we work with, we didn't have a lot of challenges there. We were able to get the crop grown. Where we did start to see, some of the challenges are in things that, some farmers don't think about. And it's pallets that we put the seed on. I'm sure if we talked about the price of wood with our farmers and projects they're doing, they would understand that, and changing the lead times and when we could get them and when we couldn't get them and balancing that. Things such as paper bags, sometimes the paper bags that the seed goes into, we take for granted that we can just order it and get it a few months later. And we've actually had to extend lead times and make sure that we have the right bags in place to put that seed in to keep the operations moving. So a lot of it's been around extending the supply chains and making sure that we can manage them effectively for a lot of those, what I call input materials, if you will, bags, tags, pallets, that if we don't have those things, we can't get the seed out the door to the farmers.
Ryan, could that extend into 2022 as well?
Oh, absolutely. We've been managing a lot of things here into 2022 with that as well, where we're seeing extended supply chain lead times on things. My family farms, and unfortunately, we had a part break on a tractor, and we found out it wasn't quite as available as what we thought either. Thankfully, we had a great local dealer with a great service who was able to help us out and make things happen, just like our Golden Harvest dealers do for our customers. But it's something we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on to make sure we can have those materials available and make sure the seed keeps getting packaged and out the door. And so far, we're in a great position to make sure we do that before next spring.
We know also that there's been some severe weather as well in really important supply locations. And I wonder, does the severe weather conditions that have happened in 2021 also impact seed supply as we go into 2022?
Yeah, the one thing about our footprint is we grow in a broad state of geography. So sometimes farmers, especially, I work with some teams in North Dakota there, and they're severely affected by the drought, and look out their back door and wonder and question. If you look at where our footprint is and where we're growing, we're in a solid position to be able to supply our seed because of the diversity of our growing areas and how far we spread the risk, if you will, of trying to mitigate against some of those weather things. So sometimes, the farmers have to remember everything in the back door isn't the weather everywhere, and make sure you're always looking around and, just stay in good contact with your seed suppliers. The company here with our teams, our supply chain folks are highly communicating with our Golden Harvest team every day about what's available and how we can make sure we get the seed there. But in general, we're in a solid position to meet the demands of the farmers as we head into the spring of 2022.
So to wrap things up, what can you tell us about the delivery and logistics piece of seed production, Ryan?
Yeah, I always remind folks production is kind of like the offensive line of a business. We like when nobody talks about us and the quarterback's playing well and everything's going down the field. We tend to get talked about when the trucks aren't getting loaded and the seed's not headed out the door. It's kind of like an offensive line when the quarterback gets sacked. Everybody all of a sudden looks at that offensive line of a football team, right? So I'd tell you the offensive line is great here at Syngenta. We're in a great position. We've got our partners and our what we call our truckers and our carriers. We've been meeting with them all fall here, talking about the volume we have to ship. They're ready to head out get the trucks loaded and out the door. And so far, so good. We're off to a great start this fall with seed corn harvest wrapping up and nearly halfway through the soybean harvest. And so things are really moving forward in a great way for 2022.
Thank you both for joining us. And before we let our listeners go, is there anything else you want them to know as they wrap things up and as we head into next year? Anything else that they should know about the products coming from Golden Harvest?
Well, I'll go first, and then Ryan can probably jump in after me. I think, as it relates to Golden Harvest, we're committed to delivering a very compelling genetic, very competitive genetics. Essentially our newest genetics with our latest trait packages in the most efficient and effective way. And we continue to revise and improve our process so that our products continue to improve year over year. And of course, it doesn't help to have great products if we can't produce and deliver them. So it's the great collaboration that goes all the way from R&D through product supply and Ryan's team and ultimately to our commercial team that makes the Golden Harvest story a really great one to be part of. So that's my perspective. And Ryan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just to add, it really comes down to our employees every day are focused on farmer success, and that comes down to making sure that we get all the right products tested properly, make sure we get all the right quality tests done, make sure that we get all the right seed and the right package types with the right treatment on the seed for the farmers for what they need to establish those stands early, and make sure they're setting themselves up for the most genetic potential and success in their farming operations. And so our employees every day are thinking about how do we make sure the seed is handled well with the best quality, and really making sure that we can deliver it on time before those spring planters and those planters roll in the spring. So it's the dedication of our teams and the dedication of our employees that really set us apart, always thinking about how farmers need that seed to succeed on their farming operations.
We covered a lot in this episode of We're All Ears. New episodes will continue to come each week. Next week, we're setting you up for next season by diving in how to create the best corn crop plans for 2022. You will definitely want to be there. Subscribe to We're All Ears on your preferred podcast streaming platforms so you don't miss it. We're on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. And remember, just like you're listening, we're listening too. Join in the conversation and interact with us at Golden Harvest on Facebook and Twitter, or Golden Harvest Seeds on Instagram, and share your thoughts on this episode and the whole series. Thanks for joining us in this episode of We're All Ears. We'll see you in the next one.